Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. Big Man on Campus is joining us, as always, every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where we cover the upcoming college football card. It's Week 12 in college football. Jeff, BMOC wins. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Yourself, Peter?
All right. I'm doing good. There's a bunch of plays that I'm liking on today's card, but the lines are moving pretty quickly, and I might want to just list them all down, to lock the lines in before we start discussing them and analyzing them. What did you say, Jeff?
Do it.
I will do it. And I had a little bit of a bad run in college football earlier this year, but this week I gave a totals play on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Nailed them all, each one in the max. So 3-0 on the week so far. Overall, 97 and 85 overall, which is okay. Plus 4 units, plus 2% ROI. Big Man, I know you have to take late lines. You went 3-3 last week. You mind if I read your record overall on the year in these shows or not, or do you want me to skip it?
I don't care.
You don't care? Right, it's 35 and 46, minus 15 units, minus 17% ROI, but you do take all these lines late, and you went 7 and 6 over the past 2 weeks. And how are you doing in college basketball? I've been told you're doing great in college basketball right now.
Yeah, I'm murdering it. 24 and 11. I'm giving it all for free, and yeah, it's been a good year, man. Starting out, so. But yeah, we got to finish right. You know, Peter,
right.
We're only a week or so in. So
very nice. Well. There are a bunch of bets that I made earlier in the week, and these lines are moving in a major way. So let me just run down the quick ones from the 12 o'clock games. I did bet the under in Louisiana Monroe Auburn. Obviously, Auburn doesn't probably care about rolling up the score here, so I did bet the under. Although that line is going up a little bit, but I will throw that one on there. Auburn under 68.5 minus 107 is the best line right now. At Pinnacle, I did also bet the under in the Minnesota Northwestern game. I got it at 43.5. It's now down to 39.5 or 39. Might be worth a play even at 39.5. Not exactly sure. I'll have to think about it. I also bet the under in Rutgers, Indiana. I think I got 48. Now it's down to 46.5. Not sure if I want to give that one. I bet the under in Cincinnati, East Carolina. That one's actually gone up. It's up to 65.5 now. I did bet Arkansas and the Arkansas-Mississippi State under. Obviously, Mississippi State is off of the tough game against Alabama. Arkansas having all sorts of internal issues, but I think that's only going to serve to inflate the line, and it might be a little bit of a lower scoring game. So I will definitely add that one on. Arkansas under. Best line right now is 58.5 minus 110 at Bookmaker, and also Arkansas plus the points, which I got at 13, and it is now, let's see, still 13, 12.5, plus 13, plus 100 at Bet Online is the best line right now, plus 13, plus 100. I also bet, let me just check these. Wow, the Temple UCF total is headed up. I was thinking that might be good for an under. Let me just, I guess we can, we'll get to the other games after the 12 o'clock segment. So let's touch on the 12 o'clock games. Big Man, actually right now, the only three that I'm giving officially are Auburn under 68.5 minus 107, Arkansas under 58.5 minus 110, and Arkansas plus 13 plus 100. What do you think about that Arkansas game? You think that, why should Arkansas be a double-digit dog here?
Well, I guess looking at like the past couple weeks, they haven't played particularly well. But right. Mississippi State's a good team, good defense, great quarterback. But it is at home. You have to think at some point there's going to be some pride for Bielema and Arkansas. I got to wonder how long Bielema keeps that job there. He's really struggled at Arkansas the last couple of years, including this year. But yeah, I mean, I think they're better than being 13-point underdog in this spot probably. Yeah. But I actually like the one play you gave out a lot more. I like that Auburn under. Yeah. That's a great play by you.
68.5. And also, I was thinking that ULM might be a sneaky good bet. ULM does have some positives to recommend them, and I'm just not sure that Auburn is going to be motivated here to run up the score. But I do think that ULM is going to be motivated to give whatever they got to keep it somewhat close.
Let's say Auburn scores 44 points or something. Right. I mean, I don't know that ULM could score 20. I mean, that total seems way too high.
Yeah, absolutely. Good I'm also leaning ULM plus 38. What do you think about that?
I'd more or less prefer just leaning under.
Right.
Just because, I don't know that they can score into the 20s, which is what they're gonna have to do to cover that 38. I feel like. Yeah. I think that's like a 48-10 type of game.
Yeah, definitely. Another game that I am looking at, Northwestern. Northwestern's kind of gotten me snake bit. I faded them a few times in recent weeks, if you remember, big man. And actually, my fades of them were okay in regulation. The lines moved strongly in their favor, but they had a bunch of like OT covers, which were very, very suspicious. Lines that where the market bet strongly in their favor, and the games went to OT, and then they covered only in OT. I'm thinking that Minnesota getting 7 points here might be a good bet. I just think Northwestern is not as good as they've looked, and Minnesota might be scrappy with PJ Fleck. I'm motivating them. I'm thinking Minnesota +7 is a good play.
I agree with you. I think that's a great point you make about Fleck motivating them. They're a team that, Minnesota's been decent. They have a real good run game, pretty good defense, and they're 5-5, Peter. This is a huge game for them. If they could somehow find a way to go in and keep this game close, maybe try to win it late, they're going to go to a bowl game. So, games like this are important for a team like this, and I don't think Northwestern's good enough to lay this kind of number. Northwestern's been very good against the number though lately. So it's but Peter, you know what I'll say about that? For people to say they are good against the number lately, a lot of those games they're laying 2.5. They're getting 2 points. They're not laying this kind of number except for in one game, but they're gonna have to cover by double digits to win. Win and cover this game. So I'd lean Minnesota. Agree.
Yeah, and a bunch of those covers by Northwestern recently were kind of lucky. They were OT covers as a favorite. I will add that one on. Minnesota +7 -114 at Pinnacle. I definitely bet that one. So that's a fourth play that I am adding on there. What out of the 12 o'clock games, if any, do you want to give to us as official picks, big man?
I'm actually wanting to come in on that one game with it, but I think I'll just let you have at it. I'm looking at this one, Peter. Look, I know these have been square, and look, a lot of the time I haven't been particularly good with some of these totals. Personally, just haven't kind of snake bitten, but I just don't see any reason how Southern Methodist Memphis doesn't go over the total, Peter. 68. I mean, Memphis is a big play offense. Southern Methodist can't stop anyone. I don't know if you saw last week, but Southern Methodist got ran all over by Navy and a running back at quarterback. Memphis should have a big day in this game. I just don't know that Southern Methodist can stop them, and I also don't know that Memphis can stop Southern Methodist through that passing game they have. I'm going to hold my nose, goes real square with this one, and just take the over 68.
Okay, yeah, I will talk about that in a second. Let me just find the best number for you here. Let me just find the game. Best number right now would be 68 -113. It's 68, 68.5, or 69 at the Greek. So the Greek appears to be agreeing with you. Give you Memphis over 68 -113. I actually bet the under on this one much earlier in the week when it was a 75.5. I don't remember exactly what line I got. I think I might have gotten 74.5 or something like that. But I just did my numbers crunching, and I made an educated guess that this one would be a little bit lower scoring than what the numbers indicated. I can certainly understand why you would at first glance like the over here, but I actually did bet the under. I was not expecting the line to move as it did. It's all the way down from 75.5 to 68. I don't know if I want to give the under at 68. At 69, it's at 75.5. I would be giving it, but I suspect this game will be lower scoring. But I can understand why you're on the over, and I might still give the under. I might go head to head with you because 69 is still available. Is there anything else from the card overall that you want to add to your official record, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to go Rutgers +10.5 against the Indiana Hoosiers. Rutgers 4-0 against the spread, 8-2 overall. Legos in at quarterback. They're Peyton Bender or Peyton Ramsey's out for Indiana, which is concerning. And Rutgers has played well against Indiana the last couple of years. They haven't had a great team, but one of the games they won, they stayed within a couple in the game last year. I think Rutgers is an improved football team. I don't think Indiana should be laying this kind of number. I'm not sure why they're not laying like 4 or 5. I think 10.5 is way too much. Give me Rutgers +10.5.
All right, +10.5 -106. I agree with you on that one. Rutgers, of course, has been an ATS machine, actually, covered 7 of their last 8, and Indiana has gone 7 straight games without an ATS win. So clearly Rutgers has been undervalued. Indiana's been overvalued. I agree with you on that one, and I also bet the under when it was higher than it is now. It's now all the way down to it, which is also a sharp play according to Brent from BetDSI. That's now down to a 46.5. I don't know if I want to give the under there, but I agree with you on Rutgers, and I'm liking the under still a little bit at 46.5. Let me see some other games from the card that I'm definitely going to give. Let me just scan the card over a little bit. Yeah, a lot of big line moves. One game that I'm definitely going to give. Actually, 2 totals. Let's discuss right now, both of which have moved a bit. I'm definitely going to take the under in NC State Wake Forest. And I got bit with the Wake Forest under last week against Syracuse, but we know what NC State does, strong defensively, and I'm thinking that this one will be more conservative than the Syracuse game, and I will take the under there. Best line right now is 63.5 minus 110 at the Greek, so that's a little bit concerning. The Greek has a lean to the over on that one, but I will take the under 63.5 minus 110, and I'm also going to take the over in UConn BC. They, of course, are playing a game at Fenway Park. We know that UConn can put up the points and can have a very porous defense, and BC has had an offense that's been a lot more productive than what we've seen from them in recent years, and the line's gone up a little bit since I bet it, but I'm going to take the over at 51. It's now best line would be minus 107 at Pinnacle. I'm sure that's a game that you find interesting that you looked into a little bit, BC and Connecticut at Fenway. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's intriguing at Fenway Park. You mentioned Boston College's offense is a lot more dynamic this year. They're moving the ball a little bit quicker. And Connecticut, I mean, shows time and time again they can't stop anyone. At 51, it's intriguing. Like I said, I mean, Connecticut, I mean, when do you see totals at 51 with them anymore? I mean, they've been up tempo as well. You took the over. What number did you get, you said?
I don't what I bet right now. It's 51. I don't remember where I bet it. I bet it earlier in the week. It was a little bit lower than where it is right now. It might have been just 50.5. I don't remember, but right now it's 51, which is fine.
That's real interesting. The only thing I would be worried about is how are the dimensions there and that kind of stuff. I mean, I can't remember there ever being a football game there. There maybe has been, but I can't remember when it was.
Yeah, so I'm going to take that one. And another bet that I did make that I also bet I got 70.5. It's now down to a 68.5, although actually UH at 69 is the under in Syracuse Louisville. Now I know I got burned taking the under in the Syracuse game last week, but Louisville's defense has stepped it up recently pretty impressively. Also, Syracuse has injuries at quarterbacks. Not sure if Dungy's going to play. The guy who's replacing him, is supposed to be pretty decent in his own right. But I think I am impressed with the Louisville's defensive improvements, and I am going to take the under 69 at a few places. Five Dimes has it, and UWager, we do use their lines under 69 minus 110, and BetDSI has 69 minus 110. So under 69 in Louisville, Syracuse. You got anything to say about that, big man?
I don't have much to say about it per se. Dungy's kind of what makes them go. So if he's not in there, I'm not always interested, but I'll go ahead and avoid that one.
And one more under that I'm going to give. Oklahoma, Kansas. Obviously, Oklahoma, an awesome season. Kansas is, we know what's going on with them. But as a huge home dog here, I'm thinking that this one, again, might be a little bit conservative, somewhat similar to, that's embarrassing that I'm comparing Kansas to a Sun Belt team, but kind of similar to the Auburn ULM game, where I'm just not convinced. It's a high total, just not convinced that Oklahoma is going to be motivated to quite run up the score here to get over the high total, and that Kansas will be pretty hamstrung offensively. So I'm taking the over on this one as well. Best line will be at Pinnacle in a bunch of places under 68.5 minus 110. What do you think about that one?
I'm not sure that can Kansas score in games like this. They seem so overmatched a lot of the time.
Yeah,
but Oklahoma isn't. I mean, if Kansas can't score 14 points or something fucking wrong. But it's a tough one because Kansas, I've seen in these kind of spots, literally get blown out 44-0.
I could easily see, like you said, I could easily see this one being like 55-3 and go, and Kansas getting absolutely blown out, and the game still going under by double digits.
Yeah, exactly. That's the concern here, in it being so high. But I guess you're banking on like a 49-20 type of game or something. I don't know.
That would actually go over the total. No, I'm banking on like a.
I thought you said you're on the over.
No, the under 68.5 minus 110.
Then I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Sorry, I sometimes say over when I mean under, and vice versa. But that's another pick that I'm given. I'm just scanning the card because there are a lot of bets that I made that I'm kind of liking. Another one that I am going to give is the under in Texas State, Arkansas State. Arkansas State. That was my big loser last week. I thought Arkansas State was a great bet.
Me too.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
Yeah. They came in and essed the bed. Here, I think Arkansas State probably bounces back to a certain degree, but I'm again not convinced that the game is going to be a particularly high scoring, and I'm going to take under 59 minus 110 at a bunch of places. Do you have anything to say about that one, big man?
I think Arkansas State probably gets going again in this game.
Yeah.
It probably covers. They did not play well at all last week, but South Alabama seems to do that against teams. It's pretty impressive.
Yes.
Texas State stinks. I think this is a blowout for Ark State. I think it will. I think Arkansas State will push 45 in this game probably. Texas State is 4.
Yeah, see, I don't think so. I think Arkansas State will put up the points, but that Texas State is that it's not going to be that high of a scoring game. So I'm going to take the under. Then one other game that I definitely want to make sure we get to: Louisiana Tech against UTEP. This is a tricky one, right? UTEP obviously a terrible team. Louisiana Tech obviously pretty good, but nowhere near what they have been in years past. And UTEP is a big home dog here. This is a tough spot for Louisiana Tech. I bet the under on this one. I forgot where I got it, but I think it was around 50 or something. It's now down to 48.5, and I'm thinking that UTEP getting 17 might actually be a decent bet, and I actually believe I saw them up to 17.5 at some place. Yeah, a few places have 17.5. This might be a trappy spot for Louisiana Tech.
I think you're playing with fire. I mean, UTEP has really quit, I think, on that coach of theirs. The coach is interim, Peter. He's like there for the rest of the year. He's like an older guy that came back for the program. And he basically admitted that he didn't think it'd be this difficult to coach UTEP. He actually said that in a press conference.
Yeah.
So I think they've kind of quit on this guy. They have nothing to play for at this point. And you're right. La Tech hasn't played really up to the potential that they played at last year. But I mean, UTEP is pretty poor.
Yeah.
This could definitely be 21-3,
Yeah.
or something.
Yes.
I- it's a pass, but I'm not betting UTEP here. I mean, they're dreadful.
Right.
Dreadful.
And that's why I'm liking the under more. I am going to take the under 48.5 minus 105 at betonline sportsbetting.ag. I'm just running through all the picks so that I lock in the lines and I don't forget them all. Another one that's interesting, Iowa State Baylor, right? Iowa State having some quarterback issues coming into this game, and Baylor not a good team, but I do kind of like the new quarterback that he's got. I did like the under on this one. It's gotten bet way down. It's down to 49, 49.5 or 50. And I think I like Baylor here, even though I did get burned taking Baylor last week, I believe. But it's, 8.5 or 9 at BetOnline, sportsbetting.ag. And I just don't really like the spot for Iowa State. What do you think about Baylor as a home dog?
I took Baylor last week, and I kind of had a feeling it was a weird play, and it was. They ended up not covering. I'm sick of giving them respect. I've tried to respect them and say, oh, they're gonna play well this week and get the job done, but they just keep letting me down. I'm not getting involved with them anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. I am going to go back to the well one more time, though. I will take Baylor plus 9 minus 119 right now is the line at BetOnline, sportsbetting.ag. All right, there's a bunch of other plays that I definitely think I want to add on, but as of right now, that's about it. Let's review the plays we've made, and then let's go through a fine-tooth comb a little bit for the 12 o'clock games. Jeff, BMOC wins is on Memphis over 68 minus 113 and Rutgers plus 10.5 minus 106. I'm on the UTEP under 48.5, Baylor plus 9 minus 119. Auburn under 68.5. Arkansas under 58.5. Arkansas plus 13 plus 100. Minnesota plus 7 minus 114. Arkansas State under 59. Wake Forest under 63.5. BC UConn over 51. Louisville under 69. And Kansas Oklahoma under 68.5 minus 110. Those are all my picks so far. I'm probably going to have a bunch more before this call is over. Let's go to some of the notable games from 12 o'clock. Michigan, Wisconsin, obviously a very interesting game. Both teams kind of banged up. I feel like Michigan a little bit more banged up. Leaning under here, and I think I'm leaning Wisconsin to pull this one out, although the line has moved strongly in Michigan's favor. It opened at 10. It was down at 7 last night, and now another move in Michigan's favor. Pretty big move, obviously, in a game like this from 7 to 6.5. That's a big move. There are still some 7s available, but it's 6.5 now, most of the market, and I'd be leaning Wisconsin here. Why do you think Michigan's getting so much line respect here?
Because the whole world seems to be on them. Everyone I hear is on Michigan. It's amazing. Would that move that number to 6.5 though? Down to 6.5. That's pretty interesting. At 6.5, I think you have to look towards Wisconsin, Peter. I figured this is like a 17-10 type of game. Look, I like Michigan. I respect their defense a lot. I think Peters adds a new dimension, but we have to remember Wisconsin is the top total defense in the country.
Yeah.
I think they're really going to make it difficult. The concern I have, Peter, and why I kind of lean under, I know it's a low total, but I just don't know that I see where the offense is going to come from. I think Michigan will be better against the run than they were against a Penn State or a Michigan State. I think it's a 17-10-ish type of game. The weather's going to be really poor in this game as well. So I'm leaning under, and at that number, I'm going to lean with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning under in Wisconsin as well. It's now 43, the total. And again, 6.5. So I have to think if I want to make that an official pick or not. Let's next go to a very interesting game here. Miami, Florida against Virginia. Obviously, Miami improving ATS-wise as the season is going on. And that is very rare to see from a team like Miami, an undefeated team. Miami, Florida, suddenly starting to cover by big margins. That game last week against Notre Dame, very impressive. And Brent from BetDSI told us that on the Friday call that sharp action actually came in on Miami on the second half of that game, despite being up huge at the half. The sharps came in on the halftime line for Miami, Florida, and of course cashed with it. This line's getting bet up 19.5 or 20. Is Miami maybe this good? I mean, Virginia, I know they've been very inconsistent, a lot of flaws here. I was thinking it might be a spot to take Virginia. It's now up to 19.5 or 20. What do you think?
Yeah, it's getting to the point, and I think a lot of people are going to say, well, Miami doesn't really need to blow anyone out here. They just need to keep winning. I've actually, Peter, every week since the start of the season, I've bet on Miami in some form of fashion. So I'm going to keep riding them here. It's solely just because I bet on them every week. I do think they crush Virginia, though. Virginia's poor. They're bad. They're on the road. They've really kind of had a nice start to the year, but really tailed off for the most part. I feel like Miami will roll, but it is a tough spot at 12 o'clock, kind of against an opponent that you really don't need to crush. You just need to keep winning. So I do definitely see why Virginia people would play, but I ride Miami every week just to ride Miami. I like them, and I think they're a solid team. I haven't made a ton of money on it, but they've just been a team that I've really enjoyed watching, and I played them as well.
Okay, so you're making that an official pick or not?
No.
Okay, yeah, it's 19.5 is what you would get if you wanted them. All right, let's see what else is going on from the 12 o'clock games. Like the big one again, another one, undefeated team, UCF Temple, right? UCF has South Florida next week. UCF obviously still undefeated and an impressive team, but Temple definitely improving. They're going to leave it all on the field for this one. Where they were getting 14 earlier in the week, I did bet that. It's now down to 13 or 12.5. I'm still thinking Temple might be the play here. You think I'm wrong?
That's why, Peter, that's why you're really good at college football betting, because you scalped off a 14. I would dream to get a 14 right now with the Owls. I mean, what a number you got. Yeah, I actually like your play a lot. I think Temple's playing as well as anyone, really. I mean, they have a new quarterback that's been able to get the job done. I don't know that I fully trust UCF's pass defense. I think Temple will make this one a tough, kind of gutter kind of game. Game stays inside the 40s, probably. Lower scoring, 27-14, right, something like that. I think Temple hangs in this game. UCF's got a big look-ahead game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Temple win, Peter, frankly. I think this is kind of one of those games. They kind of hang around. They hang on the run game. You make it tough on Milton. I think the number at 14, what a beautiful number. Good job.
Yeah. I don't beat every line move, big man, because on this game I also, as you said, I bet the under, but I think I got 56 or 56.5, whatever it was. Now it's up to 57 or 57.5, so I definitely didn't beat the line move on that total. Not exact. That makes me a little bit nervous. I'm assuming that's like if I knew the game was going to be high scoring, no way in hell I would take Temple. That obviously favors UCF, a higher scoring game. So I'm concerned that the line, that the total is getting bet up. But I would be leaning under at 57.5 as well.
Yeah, I think that's kind of getting a little too high. I think they've not improved, but they're usually a defensive group. They weren't great, but they were playing really high level teams. I think they've kind of come into their own defensively. They're back to playing that good Temple defense, and their coach is a defensive guy. I think he'll be prepared in this game, but game plan wise, and they are at home here as well, which, for many people that don't know, just so you know, they don't have a home stadium. They play at the Eagles Stadium, so it's kind of a nice little, it's a cool thing. And I think they'll be ready in this game. I'm glad, I like the number you got, and I like the under you bet.
All right. Well, I might get burned here, but I will take both of those. I'll add them on. I'll take the under 57.5. That is the minus 107. That's currently at Pinnacle. And I will take the 13, although, yes, I would much, much rather be getting 14, but it's 13 minus 106 at Pinnacle, and I will add that one as well. Temple plus 13 minus 106. Those are two more plays that I've added onto my official record here. Let's see. SMU Memphis, we talked about that. Auburn, we talked about that. Let's see. What else did we? Oh, yeah. All right. Well, Texas, West Virginia. This game baffles me. Well, I guess not. I lean West Virginia here for sure, but I'm not sure how much I like it. Definitely feels like Texas just not the kind of team that you want to be betting unless they're getting on the road, unless they're against another quality team, unless they're getting big points, which they're not here. West Virginia, not a perfect team by any means, but feels like they'd be the play at -3. Would you disagree with that?
I mean, Tom Herman as an underdog, Peter, I'm not looking to bet against
Exactly,
that either.
right.
But I also don't want to bet against West Virginia and Morgantown. I just not something I want to do. Offense against Texas played pretty good defense, but could Texas move the ball? I got to be real, Peter. Something tells me Texas goes in here and wins this
Mhm.
game. West Virginia's just they seem to make mistakes, when the game gets important. But it's a tough one. I mean, there are dynamic signs for either side here.
Yeah. All right. I would be leaning West Virginia for sure, but I will hold off on that one for now as well. And then TCU, Texas Tech. This is an interesting one. Brent from DSI told us that that sharp action came in on Texas Tech. I think he said they came in at 8 or 7.5. It's now under 7, although actually BetDSI now has 7, and the Greek both have 7, so it's climbing up. Some late money coming in on TCU, and also money came in on the under on this one, which I also bet, and that one has crashed way down to a 52 or 52.5. I would not give it. When I bet it, I didn't love it. I thought it was like a slightly good play, so I bet it, and I'm very surprised by the line move and that Sharps came in on the under. I still think that Tech's offense can be productive in a spot like this, but I was liking the under at like 56.5 wherever I bet it. Now it's down to 52 or 52.5, and Texas Tech is just a modest home underdog here. This is another interesting one. You have anything to say about this one, big man?
Yeah, Texas Christian's going to be without their quarterback Kenny Hill, but the kid coming
Right.
in, very high recruit,
Yes.
won a state title in Texas, so I think they'll be fine at that position. I can't stand Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's the worst coach. He's brutal. He's terrible. Yeah, I actually like TCU in this game
Hmm.
at 6.5. I'm going to add this one. It's another kind of squarey kind of play, but I think Texas Tech, they're really one-dimensional if they can't throw the ball around. I think Gary Patterson will be prepared in this game. He's faced a lot tougher offenses and been pretty successful against them. I like this young quarterback. I like what I've seen. I
Yeah.
like what I've heard. I'm going to go with Texas Christian here, minus 6.5.
I completely agree with you, and I think that if the sharp action on Texas Tech was because of the TCU quarterback not being in, I definitely disagree with that sharp action, and I agree with you. I like TCU, and actually, you have to use line shop at SBRodds.com. The market is most places have 6.5 or 7, but Heritage, which we do use at their full juice lines, has 6. So we'll give you a TCU -6 -110. That's an official pick, right, big man?
Yep, let's go with TCU.
TCU, okay, and then let's quickly touch on the 12:20 game, Pittsburgh at Virginia Tech. This is another one that I bet modestly, and I thought that it was an okay bet, not a great bet, but the market has moved strongly in my favor. I did bet Pittsburgh. I got 15.5, not the opener of 17. It's now down to 14 or 13.5, even at bookmakers. So some strong money coming in here on Pittsburgh. And as you know, big man, Pittsburgh has a new running back who's doing very well. He has good character, and he's the kind of guy who I think will do well game in and game out, and including on the road. So I think that's a big plus for Pittsburgh here. Virginia Tech, a good team coming off of the loss to Georgia Tech. Just too high of a line. So I took Pittsburgh here. Now it's down to a 14 or 13.5. What's your take on this one?
Yeah, I'm letting it all hang out here today, Peter. I'm gonna go with some picks that I wouldn't normally play that I'm gonna play. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go over in this game, 49
Mm-hmm.
and a half. I like what I've seen. I think you make a good point about the new running back for Pittsburgh. I actually like Ben DiNucci as their quarterback over Max Brown. I've liked like you said, character. I've liked what I've seen out of Pittsburgh. That go in and beat UNC last week as a big or they lose to UNC, but they had played well before that for the most part. You beat Virginia at home, good play there. I just think Virginia Tech can move the ball as well. I think the total's a little low. I think this will get into the fifth.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad play at all. I was leaning that way myself. It's just I held off because the line did take a dip a little bit, and I wanted to look into a little bit more. Market is uncertain about where this total should be. It's 49.5, 49, or 48.5. So we'll give you one of the 48.5s. Lots of places have that over 48.5 -110. And you know what, big man? I'll go on that one with you. That was a borderline play. I did bet it, and I like it. I completely agree with your play, and I will add that one onto my picks as well. Pick Virginia Tech over 48.5 -110. All right, so we've touched on every 12 o'clock
Hey,
game.
Peter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and again, you can tell me if I can't do this or not, but I'm gonna do it. I'm actually, if I can I pull a game?
Sure. Which one?
I'm gonna pull the Memphis one. I'm looking at the weather report. I'm not too I'm not too excited about this, to be honest with you. I see a lot of heavy wind, looking at 30-mile-an-hour winds. I'm going to go ahead and, if I can, pull this one off the board.
Okay, well, you can pull it, but what you have to do then is basically just bet the other side, which means that you could, get middled, or if the line moves in your favor, you could hit both of them, and that is actually the case. Looking at SBR odds right now, it's 68, 68.5, or 69, and BetDSI has 69.5, so if you want the under, we can now give you the Memphis under 69.5, which means that if it lands on 68, you cash, and if it lands on 69, you win two of them.
How could I not do that? If it lands in the great 69
and a
I
half,
actually win
yes.
both. Fucking hell, yes, I'm on that. Let's do it. 69 is the big number today.
But if they split, you do lose 1/10 of a unit in juice.
That's totally fine.
Okay, so big man now on the over 68 minus 113 and the under 69.5 minus 110 in SMU Memphis. Nice job, big man. You just got a little potential for a middle there
I mean, look, the weather's not good, but hey, I'll take the extra little possibility of a middle. Gotta love middles on 69, Peter.
Absolutely, gotta love middles on 69.
Peter,
and
I'm
also,
gonna go.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to add one. I'm going to go Idaho -7. I don't want this to move to 7.5. I'm going to go Idaho -7 against Coastal Carolina. Terrible spot here for the shot that clears. Season's over. Got to go up to Moscow. Long trip. Sunbelt's a tough conference to play in, especially if you're Coastal Carolina. Idaho closer and closer to a bowl game. 2 games left. They have 4 wins, I believe. New quarterback for Coastal. They're going to have to lead on the run game. Idaho, a good run defense. I think Idaho goes in and gets a pretty solid win here. Beats the shot that clears fairly easily. I'm going to go Idaho -7.
Yes, -7, minus 108 is the best line right now at Pinnacle. And actually, that was a game that I was looking at as well. I did bet that one. That was one of my solid plays this week on the over. I'm just thinking that Idaho, we know they have a good, he's in, right? Linehan is in for Idaho, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, we know that Idaho has a quarterback who can make things happen. I'm guessing that Coastal Carolina might not play the strongest brand of defense in the world, and they might be able to put up some points on their own. So that was actually a play that I was liking on the over. What do you think about that one? You obviously looked into this game pretty closely.
Actually, Peter, I'm seeing, recently to the Idaho Statesman, Matt Linehan will not play in this game. But I got to tell you, I still like it. Along my level,
okay, Linehan's not playing.
Yes, I'm seeing recently a report from the Idaho Statesman saying he is not playing.
Okay.
So Petrino's son, I believe, will play quarterback here. The coach, Petrino.
Yeah, well, I'm still liking the over, and you're still sticking with -7, minus 108?
Yes, I think Coastal Carolina. This is more for me about the spot against Coastal Carolina as opposed to the Vandals.
Okay, is there anything else you want to make sure that you lock into before we start looking at some other individual games on the card?
I don't think there's anything particularly right now that I'm going to have to lock in. I'm going to add maybe 1 or 2 more, but we'll go through the games. No problem.
All right, so again, I'll quickly review all the picks we've given. Big Man, actually, in the course of this show, has set himself up for a possible middle on the magic number of 69. He's got Memphis under 69.5, minus 110, and the over at 68, minus 113. He's got Rutgers plus 10.5, TCU minus 6, Virginia Tech over 48.5, and Idaho -7. I've got Temple plus 13, the Temple under 57.5, Auburn under 68.5, Arkansas under 58.5, Arkansas plus 13, Minnesota plus 7, Arkansas State under 59, UTEP under 48.5, Baylor plus 9. I'm on Virginia Tech over 48.5 with Big Man. Wake Forest under 63.5, BC over 51, Louisville under 69, and Kansas under 68.5. minus 110. All right, let's look at some of the other games that are interesting that we might not have gotten to yet. Let's see. What is Kentucky, Georgia, right? Georgia coming off of the loss. Kentucky playing well, but they do have the Louisville game up next. My sense is that this might be a good spot for Georgia. I think that they're going to be try to make up for their bad play last week. Kentucky, if they get down, I think they'll just quit. They have the big game against Louisville up next week, which I think they are going to get up for because they have been playing well. So I'm thinking that I would love to get 21, which isn't available right now. 21.5 is the market-wide number. What do you think about that game, Pete?
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for the Georgia Bulldogs to bounce back. I think you make a great point there. But I am kind of liking over as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Kentucky's been able to put some points on the board lately. I feel like if they could put 14 points on the board, I think this game will get up and over. I think it's like a 38-17 type of game or something. I'm kind of close to getting into that one, but I don't know. I might maybe by the end of the show.
Yeah, I was thinking that one myself. My only concern is if Georgia, my only concern, quite frankly, is if Kentucky, halfway through this game, because they know they're getting beat and they know they have Louisville up next week, literally just quits in the middle of the game, and Georgia just winds up winning 45-3 or something like that, and Kentucky just really doesn't try, because if Kentucky isn't trying on offense, they're not going to score at all on this defense. And that's the only thing that makes me a concern. If I knew for a fact that Kentucky was going to try on offense the whole game through, I would love the over as well. I'm really just concerned that Kentucky will quit halfway through this game.
Yeah, that's the main concern, really. Good point. They got a big game kind of on deck in their state. So, yeah, I mean, that's the real concern here. Yeah. That's why I maybe kind of stay off it.
All right, next one that's interesting, of course, Illinois at Iowa State. Line opened at Iowa State minus 38.5. And from that line has gotten bet way up, all the way up to 41 now, market wide. I cannot abide this line, big man on campus. I know how awful Illinois is. If every player on Ohio State got $1 million, if they covered this, obviously they could cover it and they would cover it. But I have to think that Illinois is a play at 41 if you're going to touch it at all. And I also did bet the under on this one. I think I got 56, and now it's down to 53.5 or 54. Ohio State minus 41. What's your take on that line, big man?
I don't have much on it. I mean, I think Ohio State will. I mean, I think that's key that Ohio State will really try to run up the score, and they normally do against teams like this. I wonder if Illinois is this bad. I know they're bad, but I have to think Lovie Smith will get something in this game. But yeah, it's clearly Ohio State. I'm not betting Illinois, so I'll root and we'll see how it goes, but I'm off of it. Nothing for me.
Yeah, no, this is exactly like the Georgia game. I just think that Illinois might quit. They might quit halfway into the first quarter. You know what I mean? And we might see Ohio State up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. We'll see. Next game, very, very interesting, controversial game. I'm probably staying way off it, is Navy against Notre Dame. Notre Dame obviously just coming off of the big loss to Miami, Ohio, and now they're giving major points to Navy. 17.5 or 18. The total's taken a dip down. I actually bet the under. Again, I bet the under minimum. I thought the line was going to get bet up, but I like the under. Very surprised by the line move. It's now down to 58.5 or 59. Interesting game. Do you have anything to say about this one, big man?
No, I have nothing on this game either, Peter.
Yeah,
we're picking some games that I just don't have much on.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, that's a big one. All right, moving on. Maryland against Michigan State. Obviously, Michigan State very, very embarrassed from getting dominated last week, just absolutely dominated. Just an embarrassing performance. Now they come back at home and they're facing Maryland, who's having, again, all sorts of quarterback issues. It's not clear who's going to start here, their third stringer or their fourth stringer. I was actually thinking that I was leaning, they're anti-correlated, but I was leaning under and I was leaning Michigan State minus the points. I'm not convinced that Maryland's going to be able to put up maybe just the Maryland team total over, because I don't think they put up more than 10 points in this game.
No, they're you got to feel bad for them at this point. Their quarterback situation's a mess. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're like a team total under would be good here. Michigan, Michigan State's annoying, Peter, because I take a lot of unders with them, and they always find a goddamn way to go to overtime and screw me. So, yeah, I feel bad for Maryland. That's one thing I'll say. Feel bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Michigan State, of course, that a lot of their totals are super low. So anytime they have a little bit more of a dynamic offense or a little bit more of a leaky defense, their games can easily go over. Yeah, the Maryland team total is 13.5 minus 115, and I will. You know what? I will throw that one on there, big man. Maybe Maryland does get a couple of field goals, but I'm not seeing too many touchdowns here. I will take the Maryland team total under 13.5. minus 115. That is the line right now at Heritage. If it was just 13, I wouldn't touch it, but a 13.5, that's enough for me. I could see them getting 13, like one fluky touchdown and a couple of field goals, and that's it. Maryland team total under on 13.5. What do you think about that one, big man?
I like it. I mean, I don't think they scored 10, frankly.
Right.
Michigan State's defense is real good. You know what? I'm going to go on that with you.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Okay. Yeah. Maryland team total under 13.5 minus 115. That is the line currently at Heritage. All right, let's see some other games. Oh, another interesting one. I don't know if you looked at it, but Army against North Texas. Obviously, North Texas has a great passing offense this year. Can they stop it? Can Army stop it? And Army is Army. Can North Texas stop Army's running game? And is Army motivated here to get a win? What do you think?
I think they're always motivated to get a win, especially in this game. This is kind of a rematch of that bowl game they had last year. Yeah, I like Army. I like Army, kind of on both sides of the ball, but I like North Texas a lot on the offensive side. I can't bet against the Army Black Knights. It's a pass for me. It's a tough game to call. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm getting a straight three in this game, I'd be kind of into Army maybe, but I don't know. I think North Texas down in Denton probably a pretty good play here.
Right. Okay. Now let's talk about some other games. Another game. Well, let's talk about the UCLA USC big rivalry game. Both of these teams have been terrible ATS on the year overall, but USC's offense has really picked it up recently. And of the last three games, they covered two, pushed one, and obviously it's a big favorite line here for USC. But since last night, it's actually gotten bet down. It opened about 15. Yesterday, it was yesterday afternoon, it was up to 16. Now it's down to 15, and some of the sharp books have 14.5. Pinnacle down at 14.5. Bookmaker or BetDSI down to 14.5. It's an interesting one. I'm going to stay off it, but what do you think about this one? And another note is that normally these UCLA and USC games do go under, so I was thinking maybe a shot with the under on this.
I mean, I feel like you throw out a lot of stats when these two teams play. I mean, they hate each other. There's two great quarterbacks here. I'm one to think that UCLA can hang in this game. They don't have good road numbers at all. Actually, they have bad road numbers. But this is basically, right across town. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go on the Bruins here. I'm gonna take the two, basically 15. Yeah, I think offensively they can hang in this game. I'm not in love with USC's defense. I think both these quarterbacks will just go back and forth. I think the two touchdowns are going to be pretty valuable. I know USC's playing better lately, but we still know what kind of group they are. I think this game, I don't think it's a 48-17 blowout. I think UCLA will have some sort of moxie in this game and hang around. I actually like Rosen a lot.
Okay, you want to make that one official?
Yep. I'm going to go UCLA plus 15.
Okay, well, the Greek appears to still have a strong lean towards USC. They want all the UCLA money they can get. So they are still hanging 16.5. So we can give you that one at the Greek. UCLA plus 16.5 minus 110. How about that, big man?
Yeah, sorry, Peter, I don't ever mention that one. I have all the books in front of me, and that's just not on my front page. But yeah, I'll go. Yeah, sure, 16.5, great.
Yeah, the reason that we use the Greek lines is because they do hang intentionally off-market lines. But unlike the rec books like SIA and Bovada, you can bet those off-market lines any which way you want in perpetuity. They're hanging those lines not because they're trying to sucker you in, but because they think that they have an edge. They just have a lean. They have an edge. So they're fine if you bet the opposite side of their off-market lines, whereas the other books do not like that. But the Greek, you can, and you can do it even if you beat them. So that's why we use the Greek lines. We'll give you a 16.5 minus 110 on that one. And there's one other game that I want to make sure we throw on. It's a late one, but I like it, and it is the under in Missouri Vanderbilt. Obviously, Missouri's been a huge offense recently, but in this game, I think things are going to be a lot more modest scoring. I bet it. I think I got 66. I forgot where I got it, but now it's down to a 63.5, 64, or 64.5. So I'll throw that one on there. Under 64.5 minus 110. Missouri and Vanderbilt under 64.5 minus 110 at a bunch of books. That's another bet that I want to make sure that I throw on. What do you think about that? Any opinion?
No opinion. I'm actually looking, Peter, hard into a game. If I could jump in, I might be nuts here, but I'm gonna go with it. I think this line, I thought it'd be like way lower. I'm surprised it's this high. I'm gonna go Mercer plus 50 against Alabama. I'm pretty high on this one, actually. I think Bobby Lamb, the coach at Mercer, I think these are games that are interesting because you have a team in Alabama who isn't going to care about this game. They'll win. They're going to win comfortably. Nick Saban, though, in the non-conference generally isn't someone that runs up the score against teams like this. I think he has some respect for Bobby Lamb's program. This Mercer team went in and played Auburn a little bit earlier this year, played real well in that game. I think this is a Super Bowl for Mercer's players. Yeah. The kids are in their fourth and fifth year to go and play Alabama. I mean, it's awesome. It's huge. And I don't know that they'll win by 50 or more. I just don't. I could see it. I thought this line would be 40. Personally, I thought it'd be like a 41-0 game. Everyone would be happy, and Mercer would be there and get the nice check for $600K. I think 50 is a little too much. It could be 56-0, and I look stupid here, but I'm one to think that Mercer can stay within 50 points, which isn't that hard to think. I don't think Nick will run the score up here.
All right, well, 50 is not available where I'm seeing, but 49.5 is available. And if ever there was a dead number, 50 is a dead number in college football. I think we can agree.
Well, 50's a bookmaker.
50's at bookmaker?
At least that's what I see here.
I'm seeing 40. I'm seeing at SBR odds right now 49.5 minus
Okay.
190.
When I reloaded my thing, it went down to 40.
Yeah. But seriously, like I don't feel bad about having to give you 49.5 at all, because 50 is, if ever there's a dead number in college football. I mean, the 7 touchdown number is still a winner at 49. You know.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's a 40-point game.
Yeah. Plus 49.5 minus 110 at UWager, Heritage, and a bunch of places. I completely agree with you on that one, big man. I did not look at that game, obviously, because there was no overnight line, because it is an FCS game. But yes, absolutely, Alabama tends to be a great fade in this range, and if the team they're playing has any kind of ability on their side, offensively or defensively. I haven't looked into Mercer. Do they have something to recommend them offensively or defensively?
Yeah, they do. I mean, I think their team, they just beat an FCS top 25 team last week. They're a team that I think is capable here. And you even look at like last year, Chattanooga played Alabama. It was 31-3.
Yeah.
I don't really know that Nick, especially with the Iron Bowl coming up, and there's just a lot. I mean, why play your starters deep into this game?
Right.
It's not going to make a ton of sense. I just think it's just too many points for me, I think.
Big man, this is how much I respect you. I am tailing you on this game. I didn't see it till last night, obviously, so I didn't look at it because there was no line last night, but I completely agree with your analysis, and I'm adding that one onto my record as well. Mercer, plus 49.5, minus 110. What do you think about that one, big man?
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get the job done here, and this one's not 61-0 like Vanderbilt, but I just think Nick Saban, for as much as he's kind of a mean guy, I think he's still classy in games like this. I think he respects like what Bobby, the coach at Mercer. He's a 5th-year guy. He's kind of an up-and-comer. I think he respects guys like this, and I don't think he's gonna make this one. You don't want to blow teams like this and win by 70. That's not. He won't do that.
What do you think about Delaware State plus 53.5 at Florida State?
Delaware State is they have actually not won a game this year, so it wouldn't. Luckily Florida State will get a win here, but I don't know that you can lay this kind of number with the Seminoles. But Delaware State is really a poor football team. Peter, there's something has to be said about Delaware State. They're a team that they're from the MEAC. They take these paycheck games to keep their programs afloat. Delaware State, it's questionable if they should really. This is kind of a safety issue for me. Delaware State doesn't belong in a game like this, and I think you're only really hurting the safety of your program and your athletes. But yeah, it's a pass for me. It would be surprising if the Hornets can stay within 55.
Yeah. All right. Then there's one game that's kind of interesting. I don't know what you think about this one. Hawaii at Utah State. Utah State's off a bye, and Hawaii, of course, winding down their season. They are coming off of a home loss last week to Fresno State. I don't know, just a kind of not a major game here, but maybe Utah State giving only 10 to Hawaii coming into their home turf. What do you think about that one?
I've made it clear I don't like Hawaii. I didn't really understand. People always mentioning like, you got to back Rolovich and Hawaii. I mean, they stink, Hawaii. They don't ever win. They had one good win against that Middle Tennessee State team last year. Utah State's a tough place to go play. I don't like backing Hawaii on the mainland United States. I actually kind of lean with the Aggies in that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Utah State minus 10. You think it's worth the play?
Yeah, I could see like a 2-touchdown. It's not on the front page of games that I'm looking at, but I could see that.
Right. And then another game that I'm thinking about, Brent from BetDSI told us that the Sharps did take Southern Miss over Charlotte, and the Sharps have actually been on or against Charlotte the last few weeks, and they have been right every time. They did have Charlotte plus 8.5 in that game where they lost 6-0 to ODU. This week, the Sharps took Southern Miss minus, I forgot what it was. It was either 14 or 15, and now it's up to 17.5 or 18, although BetOnline does have 17 minus 130. And my thought is that if Charlotte gets down, that they might just sort of quit on this game as well, and that Southern Miss will be motivated to get a nice margin win here. I'm thinking Southern Miss at minus 17, minus 130 might still be a good play. What do you think?
Yeah, this is actually one that I was thinking about adding. I think this is one where I don't think the spread's going to mean too much. I think Southern Miss is going to really take it to Charlotte. Charlotte's one of the bottom 5 teams in the country, if you ask me. They're another team that I feel like has quit a little bit. I mean, what are you playing for at this point? You're a bad team. You're going on the road. There's no real prospects for next year. Yeah, I think this is a blowout. I'm going to add Southern Miss minus 17.5.
I'm going to add Southern Miss. What'd you say? Southern Miss minus what?
17.5.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take the Bet Online line, which is 17 minus 130, and actually probably the 17.5 at minus 110 is probably better value. But I'm just going to play.
I didn't want to lay the 130, so I'm just going to go 110.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to take 17 minus 130, and Big Man will take 17.5 minus 110, and we'll both be on that one. And yeah, I'm thinking also that maybe the Southern Miss team total over on that one might be where, well, it's 32.5. I think they get over that one, frankly. I mean, I don't think Charlotte's going to put up too much of a fight defensively, and Southern Miss might actually run up the score a bit.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's like a 41-10 type of game.
Yeah. All right, I'm scanning over some of these team totals that are looking interesting based on what we have discussed so far.
What's Mercer's team total?
I'm sorry?
What's Mercer's team total? They have one?
Oh, I don't have that one here. Yeah, I don't have that one here. But
what would you put it at, Peter? 7?
It would be. I don't have the total. Let me see the total on the. Let me see. There's actually no total. Only 5 Dimes has a total of 56.5. So not really a market line on the team total.
Not much. Yeah,
but the Indiana team total under 28.5 minus 110. That's looking kind of good. I'm just scanning down the scanning. Wow. Let me see. I'm scanning down the games here. I'm just scanning. Yeah, Maryland, Big Man, and I are both on that one. The Kansas team total for Oklahoma is 15.5. What do you think? You think that might be worth a shot on the under?
Just because I've seen Oklahoma play defense, and I feel like you, me, and the 9 listeners could score against them. So, yeah, I got a weird feeling Kansas scores like 17, like 48-17.
The Illinois team total under in the Ohio State game is 6.5.
Wow. So they could, I mean, a muff punt, and they put a touchdown in. Fuck, I might bet that.
Yeah. The Illinois team total
I feel like they score 7. Come on.
Yeah.
I feel like they can score 7.
Absolutely. 16. Go ahead.
I don't know. I might just, never mind. That could be a shutout there.
The UL Monroe team total against Auburn is 15.5.
Give me that one. I'm in on that one.
Do you really want to add that one?
Yes. ULM team total under 15. Auburn is going to be stout. They're not giving up more than 2 touchdowns. No fucking way.
Okay. ULM under 15.5 minus 115. That is the line right now.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah.
Next week, I think we should just bet only team totals.
Well, I mean, kind of fun. Team totals are great because they combine your edges on sides and totals. Yeah. And if you happen to be, have a great edge on a side, but you're wrong on a total, you can still actually have a positive EV on the team total. And of course, if you're right on both the side and the total, then the team total has huge EV because it combines the 2 edges.
Yeah, Louisiana Monroe is not scoring more than 15 points against Auburn. No way.
Right. Okay, I'm just scanning these.
That's official, Peter.
Yes, I threw that one on there. All right, it's 11. We got 5 more minutes. Let me just. Big Man and I have both thrown on a ton of picks. Let me just review all the picks. Big Man, while I'm reviewing all the picks, why don't you look at the games and scan some comments and see if there's anything you want to add on before we wrap the show up. I am going to review all the picks from Big Man and I. Big Man's on Mercer plus 49.5. Virginia Tech over 48.5. Idaho minus 7. UCLA plus 16.5. ULM team total under 15.5. Memphis under 69.5 and the over 68. Rutgers plus 10.5. TCU minus 6. Southern Miss minus 17.5. And the Maryland team total under 13.5 minus 115. And I'm on Temple plus 13. Temple under 57.5. Mercer plus 49.5. Auburn under 68.5. Arkansas under 58.5. Arkansas plus 13. Minnesota plus 7. Arkansas State under 59, UTEP under 48.5, Baylor plus 9, Virginia Tech over 48.5, Southern Miss minus 17 minus 130, Wake Forest under 63.5, BC over 51, Louisville under 69, Kansas under 68.5, Vandy under 64.5, and the Maryland team total under 13.5 minus 115. Big Man, are there any games we didn't get to that you want to touch on? Any comments that you want to bring to light before we wrap this show up?
No, I think for me, pick-wise, I think we're good to go. There's a lot of comments, a lot of great listeners. Thanks for all of you guys for listening. We do appreciate it. Any thoughts on FAU, FIU?
Oh, yeah, game? We didn't touch on that one. And actually, there was some reported sharp action. Obviously, FAU's been a huge over team this year. Line total opened at like 62 or something like that. Got bet all the way up to 66.5. And at 66.5, sharps did come in on the under. So sharp action on the under at 66.5. And that line now is down to 64.5 or 65, or actually BetOnline has 66. So very interesting. I actually bet the over on that one. I got the opener at 62.5, and when it got bet up, I thought I was on the right side. But then when Brent told us that sharp action came in on the under at 66.5, it had me concerned.
Yeah, it's a weird game. I mean, I hate FAU anymore because of fucking Lane Kiffin. I never know what I'm going to get out of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
This number too. I mean, I don't mind laying like 2.5, 3 with Florida Atlantic, but FIU's played really well. I've been surprised by how well they played under Butch Davis. I feel like this is one where you kind of throw out the points and stuff as well.
Yeah.
I want to say FIU can hang in this game in 2 touchdowns. Kind of reminds me of that USC UCLA game, but I'll stay off it. Too many picks for me today.
Okay. And then there is one more minor game that I want to throw on. It is a minor game, and it's got me confused because it was a total that I thought was too low and has not moved at all since it opened, and it is Marshall UTSA. Total's just 45, and I know Marshall has a good defense and can hold UTSA down, but I was thinking that the over's a good bet. I was waiting to see where the line would move, and it hasn't moved at all. Just caught my eye, so I'm going to throw that one on as well. One final pick, Marshall UTSA over 45 minus 107 is a current line at Pinnacle, so that's one final play that I'm adding onto my official record, big man.
Peter, we have a lot of picks today. I like it. Do us a favor, guys. Like the show, share, subscribe. Tell your friends about it if you think they might like the college football shows or all the content we do at SBR. A lot of picks today, Peter. It could be D-Day or it could be joyous celebration day for us here, you and I.
In previous weeks, there were times when I told you that I didn't like my picks and I was praying for just like a 12-10 day or whatever. This week, I'm going to be honest with you, big man. I'm kind of liking all my picks. I think I'm going to have a big day. I'm even liking a bunch of your picks as well.
I like it. I think let's literally win everyone.
Yeah.
Let's win every game.
We're actually on the same picks, a bunch of these. We're both on Mercer. We're both on Virginia Tech over. We're both on Southern Miss. We're both on the Maryland team total under. I'm on the ULM overall game under, and you're on the ULM team total under. So we're on a bunch of similar picks, big man, this week.
Well, that could be bad for you, Peter.
No, I think that's good for you, big man. That's my take on this situation. All right. Great show, big man. And we'll be back next week for NFL, for college football week 13.
Thank you.